This took so long. Okay, just to start out this video, I'm going to tell you that it cost me £500 to make this cage and 5 full days of building it. So kids, do not try this at home. But with that being said, it's a great cage. And yeah, he's real happy. I'm even thinking maybe getting a second rabbit because it's that big. Anyway, I filmed the whole process of me building the cage. The materials that I had were sort of like wood, glass, plastic acrylic, the roof, which was a metal mesh. You'll see in the video, you'll kind of get a gist. I had like nails and all of the equipment and stuff, but first thing that I did was I made grooves in the wood because obviously the piece of glass was 2.1 meters long, 60 centimeters tall, 1 centimeter thick. It was a big piece of glass. So the first challenge was like, how are we gonna have this glass standing up at the front of the cage? And my girlfriend came up with the idea of making grooves in the base piece of wood at the bottom and the sides and just kind of slot it in there. And actually now looking back on it in hindsight, it was a great suggestion. It worked really well, but you'll see in these clips now was so, I'm not gonna swear, it was so bad. It was horrible. It took so long. I had to like saw it out just with a normal saw. I had to then chisel it out, then I had to sand it. It took ages. What the f is Laura doing? What did she hit? So I think the next thing I did was, yeah, I made the vent holes. So obviously there's 3 vents at the back of the cage, and they're kind of like circular vents. You're meant to just kind of like push them into a hole. And I was like, all right, how am I gonna make this hole? I have a 15-pound drill. I had no idea, so I opted, you'll see in the clips, I just drilled a load of massive holes. And then I kind of sawed in between the holes and just like popped it out and put the vents in, but that took a long time too. But yeah, look at how good these vents look. These vents look sick, even without the paint. So I think after the vent holes, what I did was I put the entire cage together without it being painted. The last thing I wanted was to have really soggy, smelly wood. So here you can see me just putting in those holes, just so I didn't have to do it when it's painted, obviously. Because if I do that when it's painted and kind of drill the holes, then you might get a bit of that wood underneath the acrylic on top of the black paint, which would obviously stand out a lot. That isn't what I wanted. Okay, after that, yeah, so I had this edging tape. The reason I used black edging tape instead of just painting the edges black is because on the plywood, there's kind of like lines going down. I didn't know if they would show through the paint. I don't think they would have, but I just opted to go for this edging tape to give the edges a real nice, slick, clean look. But then after that, I think I just took the wood straight to the garage and I was just sanding it down. I sanded down every single face of the wood before I painted it, obviously, to get it all smooth and the paint would take easier and just get a nicer finish to the paint. So yeah, I did that, and then I went straight in with the undercoat, or primer, undercoat, whatever you want to call it. I think it was both. But my undercoat was gray. I don't know why. They didn't have black. I don't exactly know how it works, but it was gray or white, and I thought gray would be better for the black paint. So yeah, I put that on just for the underneath part. I really wanted to treat this wood well, obviously, because there's a rabbit in there going to be weeing and stuff like that. I did that, and then after that, I put the paint on. This paint I love the paint. It was a great paint. I just got it off Amazon. Not sure if I'm going to put the links of everything I bought. I will. I'll put it in the description. Check the description, and everywhere that I bought the stuff, I'll put it in the description. Like I said, I don't suggest building this cage yourself because it took a lot of time and it took a lot of money. But if you're looking for some good quality paint, if you're doing like a a lower budget thing. The paint wasn't that much. It was like 10, 15 pounds. So yeah, I really suggest all the paints I used. And then yeah, obviously after that, I was just varnishing it. The varnish was probably the most important part, except for the paint was obviously important to make it look black, but this varnish is crazy good. This is also gonna be in the description, obviously, but this varnish was crazy, so good. I loved it. Just after it's dried and everything, and I've seen the cage for a couple of weeks, it's so scratch resistant, it's so water resistant, it's just perfect for what I need it for. I've also used it on different pieces of furnishing in my bedroom. Oh, okay. After that, this was horrible. So the next thing, obviously, the wood is looking all good. I had the wood in order, but this big piece of glass, right? The edges were so sharp. Me and my dad, we literally had like gashes in our hand from picking it up and stuff. We were bleeding everywhere. So I was like, right, we need rubber on every border of this glass. 1, so it's safer. 2, so it kind of leans softer on the wood. Because it was a heavy piece of glass, I didn't want the wood being under too much pressure. And also, it just made it look a lot nicer. The edges were pretty nice, but I just wanted like a smooth rubber finish to it. I also put the rubber on the side and back piece of wood. This was very difficult. The rubber was kind of doing this weird like wavy thing where it would bounce up. It would have a lot of bumps and stuff, and I had to keep on pressing it down. But I mean, in the end, it looks good. I just wanted rubber all around the top because obviously you'll see later I have this big piece of metal mesh, and I just didn't want to be putting that. It was 10 kilograms as well. This roof. I didn't want to keep on putting that just straight on the wood, like maybe chipping it every so often. So I'm not sure if I mentioned it yet, but I had these little pieces of wood. I think they're called dowels. I put them either side of the glass on the side piece of wood, and the idea of that was to just keep the glass in place. But I didn't end up needing them. Like the glass doesn't rest on them or anything. So I guess you can count it as sort of like an aesthetic / backup, but yeah, they kind of look like they're holding the glass, but they're not. So yeah, here you can see me putting in the vents to the holes. This is after everything's painted and varnished and stuff. It looks so nice, doesn't it? Yeah, so this bottom piece of acrylic, like I said, I was lining the bottom portion of the cage with acrylic so that like liquids didn't get into the wood. With the sides, obviously, I screwed them in, but with the bottom, I opted to just glue it down. And obviously, you can see here, I just had little dots of Gorilla Glue. I just put it everywhere, and then I lined up the acrylic, and I just slapped it on. And you can see me here just kind of pushing it down, keeping it in place. And yeah, it worked like a dream. It's really solid now. Here the vents are in, everything's painted. Obviously, like I said before, I made the holes for the screws way before like I put it all together. So now what you see me doing is I'm just basically putting the screws into the holes to keep that acrylic in. Yeah, so I put all of the acrylic on the base piece of the wood, the back and the sides. Everything's painted, the vents are in. And now what I'm doing is I'm just putting the back onto the base. Obviously, I've already made these holes, like I said. But yeah, everything's coming together now. I am relieved because to this point, I think it had been like 3 or 4 days. I was so tired of just drilling and drilling and drilling and sawing and painting and sanding. Yeah, so now I'm just putting on one side, and it's the right side. The reason why I'm only putting on this one side is because obviously we have to put the glass in, and I didn't want to put on both sides and then literally have to drop the glass directly on it. I just wanted to put one side and kind of bring the glass in from the left side and drop it in, kind of push it all the way to the right, and then put the other side of the wood on. Okay, so this bit's hilarious. So basically, I've just put on the side, everything is done, pretty much. There's just one side missing in the glass, and obviously all the interior. So this is the section where I've put it in the place where it's going to be at the bottom of my bed, and we need to put in the glass. And I knew it was going to be difficult, but it was very, very difficult. And my dad was on the other side, and we were lowering this in, and I'll probably put in some clips of the audio, but we were freaking out. I was so stressed. What just happened?
Nothing.
I can't do this.
Hey?
What did you crack, by the way?
Nothing. Then let's...
Oh, Dad, pick it up.
What have I done?
We need to take the book off.
Right, you ready?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
1, 2, 3.
We're both wearing gloves, obviously, because we were we'd already been cut up so badly from this glass. But yeah, that was stressful. It got in, and obviously you can see sort of from this angle it looks very good. I was very surprised that the groove idea that my girlfriend suggested worked so well. But all of the measurements were correct. Everything, it was so solid as well. I didn't expect the glass to be that solid, but it just doesn't move. All right, yeah, so the next part, so this is gonna be kind of difficult to explain, but obviously we need to put on the final side of the cage. But it's too low to the ground, so basically my powered drill would not so say if this is the ground, this is obviously the cage on par with the ground. My drill was so fat that I couldn't actually reach the screw. It was too, I don't know what word to use, but fat. The drill was too fat, all right? So I basically had to go into the garage, find this just random ass screwdriver type thing, and just screw each screw in one by one, and it took so long. But I mean, I'm glad I did it in the end. We cannot have this cage just falling apart. Yeah, you can see me here, just headphones on, just screw by screw. This was the first time that I ever used a drill. The drill was 15 pounds. It wasn't a very good drill, but I mean, it got the job done. But yeah, like I said, I still had to do all of this manual work. Okay, yeah, so everything is built pretty much, and you can see me here going around every edge, just filling it with sealant, this just standard waterproof sealant. Obviously the reason I'm doing that is just so no liquids get into any corners of the wood, and just keep everything nice and tidy. I started on the bottom because I knew that would be covered, and I was very bad at sealing at first. But I got better and everything looks clean in the end, so it's not a big deal. So here you can see me putting in the artificial grass. So this was not cut to size. I actually had to cut this, but I thought it would be a lot easier to cut than it was. It was actually quite difficult, but I was just putting it in, taking mental notes of where to cut. Obviously, I didn't want to cut too fast, so I did it multiple times. I was just taking it bit by bit, going pretty slow. But we got there in the end. Obviously, you can see I got it pretty much perfect. Like right now, it's just an absolute perfect fit. Okay, yeah. Funny thing about this bit is, so I got all of these puppy training pads just to put at the bottom. Obviously, I'd sealed everything, but I just wanted to make sure like Ash might not be used to his new litter tray that I got him and everything. He might just be peeing everywhere. So I wanted to get these just to kind of soak up any liquids and whatnot. I mean, you can obviously tell I'm quite OCD about no liquids getting into the wood, just because I know what it smells like. It's disgusting. But I don't know if any of you guys have ever used puppy training pads, but this is not the way that they're supposed to be. I've actually put them upside down. There's a white bit on the bottom that's meant to be facing up, obviously, so it absorbs everything, but I'm just an idiot. I had to later go back and turn them all around, and it was, again, took a very long time. So here's the point where I put in the artificial grass after the pads, and it looks so clean. Look at that. Yeah, so that's pretty much the building portion of the cage. After this was just, obviously the roof had to go on, but that wasn't really any building. It's just kind of like pick up the roof and drop it on. That's That's sort of how the roof works in this cage. Now you can just see me putting in all the interior. The interior really, I don't know how long I've had this built. Maybe it's been like a month now. It's pretty much unchanged from when I first did it here. So you can see that I bought him a little blanket, and this is his little hidey house den thing that was in his old cage, but he really likes it, so I just brought it into this cage. I have that on top of the blanket just because I want him to have a soft bed. The acrylic, not acrylic, artificial grass is actually quite soft. I don't know, I just wanted him to have the softest bed possible, do you know what I mean? Over there you can see that I put the toilet in the far corner, so often he does have to run all the way to the other side just to go to the toilet, but he doesn't mind it. I put the bowls, yeah, you can see here I'm drilling in the hay rack. So usually what I do with Ash is I have the litter tray filled with hay and newspaper at the bottom, and it's usually like, it is Timothy hay, so he can eat it, it's good for him, but it's more inexpensive hay, and I fill that up. He'll usually eat and poop at the same time and pee. But I also have this hay rack where I have kind of premium hay. I honestly don't know if it's better for him, but it was so green, like this hay looked so damn green that I was like, okay, I'm gonna get him this bad hay. It's not bad, it's just not like super expensive. It's Timothy and everything, like I said, but I decided that I wanted to put this really nice premium hay into the hay rack so that he can eat on the toilet and everything, but there's always going to be that unlimited supply of good hay for him. Yeah, you can see here, so basically, I mean, it's a pretty simple setup. You've got the bed, the toilet, the hay rack. You can see that little nibble toy that I have on top of the hay rack. He's actually eaten all of that now. Has kind of just like a little treat. I have his food bowl. Way too many pellets in there. I've actually stopped feeding him as many pellets as I used to. But yeah, he's just basically got his food bowl and his water bowl. I opt for a water bowl instead of a, what do you call them, water bottle. Just because, all right, first of all, I don't have anywhere to put the water bottle. And secondly, I mean, from multiple places that I've read from, it's much better to have a bowl. I'd really suggest it that it's just easier to replace. It's way easier for your rabbit to drink. I've actually heard that some rabbits can't physically get enough water from the water bottle because it releases such a little amount of water each time they take a lick. So I would just always suggest a water bowl. Replace it every day, the water inside, because there's going to be like bits of fur and whatever in it, so just refill it every day, give it a clean out. Yeah, here you can see me putting on the roof. Now the roof, oh man, it looks so good. I love how the roof looks, but after kind of living with the cage and having to take Ash out multiple times a day, obviously, this roof is a pain. I mean, I'm 6'2" and I'm fairly strong, but this roof is like so difficult to just take off and put back on because it's so long. I wouldn't suggest it, but it is what it is. It's done now. It looks fine. It looks great. Yeah, so that's really it. I'm gonna sort of put some cinematic shots. Actually, since I built the cage, I've actually mounted a 49-inch TV. Super nice TV that my dad bought me. Thanks, Dad. Shout out. But yeah, the room looks a lot better than it did right after I built the cage. But everything now looks so damn smooth, and I'm sure there's some clips on screen now of my room. Yeah, that's basically it. That's how I built it. Wouldn't suggest it, but what I will say is I had a lot of people mention to me, like, Harry, why did you spend this much money on it? Why did you spend this much time? You could have just bought like a similar size cage for like 200 quid. The thing that I say to that is there's no rabbit cage that is like this, let's be honest. It looks sick. But yeah, anyway, this is probably the end of the video, and I really thank you for watching. This is my first video. Planning on releasing a lot of rabbit related content. I mean, I was never planning on this. I just wanted a pet. I got Ash and I got so involved with rabbits. I was doing all of this research and I got kind of passionate about it. I have some great advice. I have some great personal advice just from from knowing Ash, and I also have some friends who have 4 rabbits, 2 of which are, I think they're just normal lops. And then they also have 2 male continental giants, which if you Google it, they get huge, like 3 to 4 feet plus. And at the moment they're 2 months old, so they're not too big, but they're twice the size of Ash. So I have a lot of personal experience with rabbits. I have a lot of information and advice I want to share. So if you have a rabbit or thinking of having a rabbit, or even if you don't have a rabbit and you're just so into my videos for some reason, then I'm not going to do the thing of like subscribe, hit the bell. I mean, whatever, man. Just if you want to subscribe and see the videos, obviously subscribe and press the notification bell. I appreciate the likes, any comments, anything. I appreciate it all. So anyway, yeah, it's the end of the video. So peace.